Okay, so this is the second time today filming, third time overall, so hopefully it actually works this time because I'm losing my mind. Hi again, but it's your first hi, my third hi, but hi again. I'm Rosie and I'm going to start making videos on history, on different parts of history, you know, trying to teach in a way that is more fun. So I thought, why not give it a shot, because who doesn't want to learn about the history of the world whilst in lockdown, right? So I also decided to try and look the part today. I thought, oh, I'll do some 1900s makeup, hair. My hair is too short to do it, and I don't own any 1900 clothes, so I look more like Evie from The Mummy, to be fair. But if that means I get to marry Rick O'Connell, I completely don't mind. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. I decided to start my series with 1900s, so I thought if we go to the 1900s, the very start of it, work our way up, do, you know, the 20s, do about like the suffragettes, we can do the 60s, we could do, you know, 50s, there's all stuff that happened in the eras, we could do Britain, America, you know, and then once we've done that, we could also maybe, if people are interested, go back to like the 1600s, you know, the 1700s, do some of my absolute favourite King Charles II, because oof, he loves the people and the people love him so much that they restored the English monarchy. Okay, so anyway, so I decided let's start with World War One and how World War One started, because, you know, it's the first major event that happened in the 1900s, and it's a fun story. Like, how it actually happened, I think, is absolutely crazy. So basically, how did World War One start? What started the Great War, which then led to the Second World War? A guy got shot off a teenager. The end. Thanks for watching, guys. That is all. That's pretty much what happened. A teenage boy shot a guy and his wife, which caused a massive war. But obviously that happens pretty much every other day these days, sadly. But back then, that is what started the war. So let's go more back. Let's go back 1800s. So in Europe in the 1900s, they started these alliances throughout Europe. Alliances was where different countries became best mates, essentially. They was just best friends. It was best friends, but instead of trading like friendship bracelets, they traded machine guns and military things. In 1839, the first official alliance was created. It wasn't as much an alliance, it was more a treaty. It was called the Treaty of London, and it's where the majority of Europe came together and decided to name Belgium its own independent state. So it was now Belgium as one country and Holland as the other. They weren't anymore combined. And this was the first treaty that was signed as an alliance, because then the rest of Europe decided we'll look after Belgium. Britain was one of the main state powers that signed this treaty back in 1839. This treaty was still active in 1914, which is where we're going to go in a minute. In 1870, the first alliance was made by Germany and Austria-Hungary. So Germany and Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary was one country at this point. It wasn't Austria and Hungary, it was Austria and Hungary. I really need to invest in a big map. You know, like all this back could be a map and have a point to what I'm on about. So during 1870s, Austria-Hungary was one place, and they were best mates with Germany. So Germany and Austria-Hungary were tight. Mostly because Germany wanted Austria-Hungary to be part of Germany, but that's like a whole conversation that happened in World War II, which we're not up to yet. You know, stay over there for a bit. We'll get to that. But at this moment, they were just really good friends. They traded and deals, and they had an alliance where if either country got attacked, the other would help. Russia were also friends with Germany. Then in the later 1870s, a few years later, they kind of, Austria-Hungary and Russia weren't as close, so they wasn't in this tight alliance, but they then got Italy involved. So Italy was more of a minor partner of this alliance. It was majorly Germany and Austria-Hungary that were close knitted, and then it was like Italy was just a tag along, you know, like they were just there. Like in TV shows, there's always like three friends, but really there's two best friends and like the side character. Italy was the side character. In 1880, France got very jealous of Germany and Austria's friendship and was like, you know what, I want an alliance. I want my own team of best mates. So France and Russia then became this really close-knitted best mates team. Germany was not a fan of this. This really threatened Germany because Germany was friends with Russia. Like, they got on, but they weren't in this tight alliance anymore because they kicked Russia out, basically. Well, Russia left Germany and Austria's friendship group because they felt like they were being excluded a little bit and decided to go join France's team. Whereas Russia and Germany were kind of still acquaintances. They were still pally. They weren't as close. It's very bitchy. France and Russia are now dead close, and this made everybody else in Europe very wary, very threatened by this friendship, especially Britain. So Britain was like, you know what, I want some of that. I have no mates apart from Belgium from like the 1830s. We don't really care about Belgium. We want to be friends with Russia and France because they're like bigly the popular kids. So in 1880, you have two teams. You have the Triple Alliance, which was the first one, which is Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy. They're Team A, they're over here, Team A. And then Team B, you have the Triple Entity. That is pronounced so wrong because it's a French name, that. So, recap, you've got Team A, which is the Triple Alliance. You have Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy as a tight-knit friendship group. They're like a major alliance. But then on Team B, you have Britain, France and Russia. They are Team B. These are the two major alliances that are going on in Europe at the time. But as well as these two major alliances, you also had little friendships that were going on in secret. So you had Germany were friends with Russia, but not really, they were just friendly. Russia was a big fan of Serbia. They were really good friends. Kind of like a big brother situation. Russia would give them a hand, would do a lot of trade deals with them, lend them money, things like that. But Serbia wasn't in this big tight alliance. Serbia and Bulgaria are the Balkans. They are two separate countries but are kind of one main area. And Bulgaria was friends with Austria-Hungary. So it is very confusing. But this is before the war. This is just knowledge to have before the war actually kicked off. So again, just the major two teams, Team A, Team B, you have basically Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy. I'm getting confused myself now, I'm not a good teacher. And you also have Britain, France and Russia. They're the two major teams. Know that, got that. Part 1, done. Right, okay. Okay, so the actual point of the video, how did the First World War start? So, you had, like I said at the beginning, a guy got shot. Who is the guy? The Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie. Who is the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, you say? Is it that band from the early 2000s? Yes, but no. They named themselves after this guy. So, the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, he was the heir to the throne, the Empire of Austria-Hungary, who Austria-Hungary, who were also kind of ruling the Balkans at the time. So he was the heir to the throne. He wasn't a well-liked guy. People were not the biggest fan. Even his uncle, the emperor, the current emperor, I think he was Joe Ferdinand, who sounds a lot more like a footballer, so I could be wrong on that name. But the emperor was not a fan of his nephew, mostly because of who he married. He wasn't a fan of Sophie, his wife, who was of noble blood but was not from Austria, so they weren't the biggest of fans in that sense. A lot of the people did not like Ferdinand either. He was very racist, especially to people from Serbia. He was not a fan and very racist to people from Serbia, which is one of the areas that they ruled. So Ferdinand was a general of the military. He was very high up in the military. So in 1914 he was sent to do a lot of exercises for the military, going on like exercises, tours of the area, meeting all the military bases, and not a lot of people there liked him. And his wife decided to go to Bosnia. Some of the people there that didn't like him were 3 teenage boys. They were around 18, 19 years old, and there was 3 of them. You had, and I am not going to pronounce these right at all, and I am really, really sorry. I will put their names in here, so if you do know how to pronounce it, or you want to write it down, or maybe go on Google Translator, which I should have done before I started filming. But you had Gavrilo Princip, who is the main guy. I know that his name in the language that he spoke is actually Gabriel, because his mum wanted to name him after his late uncle, but the priest of the area was like, no, you should name him after the Archangel Gabriel. I don't know why I know that, it's just a fact. So Gabriel is his name, but if you're doing like an exam or something, it's Gavrilo Princip. So you had Mr. Princip, who is kind of like the main guy of the story. You also had, and this is another really difficult one for me, Nedlijo Kabranovic. Nedlijo Kabranovic. We're going to call him Ned for short, because it's easier. And then the third guy was Trafico Gabrex. So you had these 3 boys anyway. You had Mr. Princip, you had Ned, and their friend. And they heard the news that the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was coming to their city. He was coming on the trip to see them and the people, and they didn't like this because they did not like him. They were not his fan at all. So basically what happened, they was all sat around and they was like, oh, so have you heard the news? The Archduke's coming to the city. And they was like, what? No way. What should we do? It's like, I know, let's assassinate him. Because, what's really going to happen? It's not like us assassinating this man will result in 2 world wars and millions of deaths or whatever, is it? And they was like, of course not. That's not going to happen. So they decided, yeah, let's kill this guy. So they got in contact with a very well-known terrorist organisation from Serbia. They were called the Black Hand. Full stop. The Black Hand Gang were very well-known terrorists. They had attempted assassinations before. They were very popular within the terrorist community. They were quite famous for being terrorists. So these 3 teenage boys was like, we'll go and we'll meet them and we'll tell them our plan, see if they agree with us, is this a good idea? Let's go. So they jumped on a train, went and met these terrorists, and the terrorist was like, you know what, kids, this is a very good idea. We are 100% support these actions. You go get them, we support you. And to show that we support you, here is a load of stuff. They gave them, so this terrorist organisation gave these 3 teenage boys They gave them hand grenades, cyanide pills, hand pistols, the lot. Basically, assassinations beginner's kit 101. They just gave it him and was like, go nuts, we believe in you, go for it. Go and assassinate the heir to the throne. And then there's like, thanks guys, see you later, and they hopped back on the train and went home to Bosnia. So the day is the 28th of June 1914. The Archduke and his wife had a very nice time, you know, they've done all the sightseeing, and it's time to go home. So they hire 2 cars. One car should have had 6 highly trained officers and 2 average police officers, and then in the second car, which is what they were going to ride in, there should have been another 2 highly trained officers. When it arrived, there was 1 highly trained officer and 3 standard police officers. Now, this wasn't very good security. Apparently, the whole holiday wasn't very good security, which is also speculations in the suburbs, the suburban, that the government was not a fan of him. They was planning on hurting him. They was like, if we maybe don't give him the security, maybe them teenagers that, you know, were on that train that time, they're gonna do something. We should just let them do it. But just speculation. So they got in this open top car and we're gonna go for a drive through the city where everyone hated them, in an open top car to City Hall. Now, what they did was they published the route the car was going to take to the public. This is all very bad planning. So they publicly posted the route the car was going to take. A guy and his wife, who the whole city pretty much hated, and he hated them back, got in a car with near to no security and drove a route which everybody knew of. And they thought, this is a brilliant idea, this is great, nothing's going to go wrong. So, driving along, all the crowds are there of people waving, like, hi, you know, wow, look, here's that guy, wow. It's as if, like Prince William was just driving through a city centre, but with no guards. He was just going for a drive, and everyone was like, wow, look, it's Prince William. But, you know, this was 100 years ago and it wasn't. So, first guy is Ned. Ned comes up, he's got a hand grenade. He throws the hand grenade at the Archduke and it bounces off him and goes into the crowd. So he misses. The bomb goes off and it blows up civilians and some police officers that are in the street. So the assassination's failed, the Archduke drives off like, oh crap, we're being assassinated, let's go. They left, they're not hurt, they're alive, they're fine. Ned, on the other hand, is like, oh crap, I missed. Pegs it, he runs away. Now, do you remember the show Stupid Death? Like, it's in Horrible Histories where it's like, stupid death, so next time it's not you. They should do a segment called Stupid Attempted Deaths, because this would win. So, Ned was like, I'm not getting arrested, you know, Viva la Serbia, let's go. So he stood on a bridge. He swallowed a cyanide tablet and then he jumped off the bridge. Now, swallowing poison and jumping off a bridge, you would think would kill a man. But no. The river under the bridge had dried up, so there was barely 2 inches of water. So he basically jumped into a puddle. The tablet that he took had gone off, so it didn't kill him, it just made him really sick. So he was just lay there, being sick in a puddle, fine, really, and the police came, arrested him, dragged him off. So the plan did not work. The Archduke's alive, Ned is alive, and Ned is arrested. It was a failed attempt. So the other 2 boys are like, oh crap, we failed. Shit. So they just split up. They was like, oh, we'll try again another time. Oh well, see you later. And Princip had a very hard day, you know. His dreams of being a murderer were shattered. And this made him very hungry. He decided, I hadn't had any lunch today, I'm going to go get a sandwich. So off he goes to a cafe, gets himself a butter. Now, Franz Ferdinand and his wife felt really guilty about these civilians and officers that had been hurt in the attempted assassination. You know, someone tried to kill them, they survived, but others were injured. They felt bad, they felt guilty. They're like, let's go to the hospital, let's, you know, go make sure they're okay. We feel bad. So they get back in the open top car and drive to the hospital. Now, Princip comes out of the cafe place where he went to get his lunch and is stood on a street corner. The corner he stood on happens to be the street that Franz Ferdinand and his wife are driving down on their way to the hospital to go and see if the people who were injured were okay. He looks up and he's like, oh my god, this is my chance. Like, he's right there. Whips out a pistol and fires 2 shots. One hits Sophie, who's pregnant by the way, in her stomach, and the other hits Franz Ferdinand in the throat, killing them pretty much instantly. Straight away, they die instantly. Princip did say that he didn't actually mean to kill Sophie, and he apologised for killing Sophie, and he felt bad about killing Sophie. You know, he didn't mean to kill a pregnant woman, he just wanted to kill the heir to the throne, basically. And he was taken off to jail. Now, he should have been executed for his crimes, but he wasn't trialed as a grown-up, he was trialed as a child. Trialed as a child. Even though he was 19 years old, and he got 20 years in prison. Now, he ended up getting tuberculosis and dying a few years later when he was, I think, 22. So, the guy that actually killed the Archduke and caused the World War never actually saw the damage he had created or served in the war that he created. He did his business and then pissed off. You know, so, yeah. Nice one, thanks for that. You're probably wondering, okay, so a guy was killed, how did this start a massive 4-year-long war around the whole world? Well, what happened was Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for the murder of the Archduke, and they was like, right, no, we're gonna get you back. Now, obviously, like I said before, Serbia was very close friends with Russia. So, Austria-Hungary went and phoned their friend Germany and was like, listen, this has happened, they killed one of our guys, so we want to get them back, but have you got our back, because they're friends with your friends, and, you know, we don't want to make you choose sides, we don't want to, you know, and Germany was like, no, you go get them, because secretly we want to invade them anyway, because their politics are crap, and we think we'd do better being in charge of them anyway. So Germany was like, yeah, you know, Austria, we got your back, you go attack them, you go get war, we're gonna get war, we're gonna then, you know, we got this. So on the 28th of July 1914, a month to the date in which the Archduke was assassinated, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Now, Serbia, being friends with Russia, was like, oh shit, Russia, can you come help us? These guys are attacking us. So Russia came over, started helping. Now, then obviously Germany and Austria was like, oh, Italy, hiya, do you want to come and help us? Because they're hurting our friend. We said we got their backs, we got their backs. Then Russia was like, oh, Britain, France, you know, have you seen this? Let's go. And within a month of this guy being shot, the whole of Europe was in war. This war lasted 4 years long, over 16 million people died, all the countries got involved, you had everyone from the 2 alliances got involved, you had Bulgaria, America, Japan, everywhere. Belgium, I think, at one point got involved, and that's just including the First World War. The Second World War obviously then happened a few years afterwards, and this is just all because of these 3 teenagers that that made a plan to kill their Archduke of where they're from. And it's just insane to me that 16 million people died because of that one day, that one incident, and that's just the one war. Like the Second World War happened because of repercussions of the First World War, which we will get into in another video. Like, I will get into how did the Second World War start, which is a much longer video. But yeah, I thought, you know, I think this is a really strange story, like how it happened. I'm really interested in this, so yeah, that's the end of the story. I say story like it's fictional. That's the end of my factual story. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you know, I am fairly new to this, so if I've moved, my camera's moved, you know, I'm sorry. I'll try my best during editing to fix that. I hope the sound's good. I hope it's in focus. I hope you, if you did enjoy this video, please like it, comment that you liked it, tell me if there's any questions you have. Is there anything that you think I missed out? Is there anything you want to know more about? Is there anything in history you want me to tell you about? Let me know. I want this to be very communal. I want you all, whoever watches this, to give me your opinions. Do you think suburbia is not suburbia? Do you think Serbia was involved in it? Do you think they were involved? Do you think it could have gone better? A big question a lot of people say is, do you think Britain really belonged in World War One? A lot of people say we had no right to get involved, but saying that, neither did France, neither did Germany. You know, it shouldn't have happened, but it did, and it's a very historical point in everyone's lives now. You know, if it wasn't for them, things that happened in the past, we wouldn't be here today, things like that. It just fascinates me. You know, we're in lockdown, history is my only hobby, so I'm going to go edit this video, or try to. I'm not that technically savvy yet. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you another time when my next video will probably be about the 4 years of World War One. You tell me what you want to know, and I will tell you what I know. And that's the end. Okay. Thanks. Bye. I'm gonna crop this bit out. My laptop wasn't on charge. My laptop has all my notes on. Oh. It wasn't in focus a second ago. I hope it's in focus now. Is it
I think so.
Okay.
Bye.
An das deutsche Volk. Seit der Reichsgründung ist es durch 43 Jahre mein und meiner Vorfahren heißes Bemühen gewesen, der Welt den Frieden zu erhalten und im Frieden unsere kraftvolle Entwicklung zu fördern.